Hey, it's Marta from No Fluff Zone here, and today I wanted to share with you my extrinsic and intrinsic ways of motivating my students. This is my 8th year of teaching, and I am very grateful for um, learning, having the ability to learn how to motivate my students. So this was all thanks to a book I read called Teach Like Your Hair's on Fire, and the author speaks about the 6 levels of moral development. This is what motivates us and our students. So when you think about being a teacher, or at least my intent or my desire when I became a teacher was I wanted to help students in my community become contributing citizens of this community. So this is something that you have to kind of like repeat my mantra. I'm helping them become better students, better community members, because I want my community to flourish. This is something very personal to me. So when you think of that, you have to think of how you're going to build your students from extrinsic motivation to intrinsic motivation. So this book, this chapter in specific, was a big eye-opener for me. The first levels, I don't want to get in trouble. So this is, I don't want you to call my mom. I don't want you to take away points, anything like that. Second level, which is where I receive most of my students in 2nd grade, is I want a reward. Yes, I want the little eraser. Yes, I want the pencil. I want the cool smelling, pencil eraser, whatever. And that's where I usually receive them, and I try to build them to the 3rd level, which is I want to please somebody. I want to please my teacher, our principal. Like I'll tell them, oh, you have to please our principal. He's gonna come in and he wants to see you doing your best. Or our assistant principal, or their mom, their aunt, whoever. So I always make it so that somebody is accountable. The children are accountable, and I always say different names. I don't say the same person. I always switch it around so that they see that our school is a community, like the parents and the teachers and the staff, and we're all working together to build contributing citizens in our society, right? So 4th level, I follow the rules. That's just who I am. I follow the rules. Even when no one's watching, I do the right thing. I have a lot of my children there. So that is evident when I have a substitute. So when I have a substitute, they'll tell me, Mr. Hernandez, somebody took a pencil from your pencil jar, or they'll hold each other accountable. Mr. Hernandez is not here. You're not supposed to do that. That's not right, That's not what we do in this classroom. So they actually make sure everyone stays on the same page when it comes to behavior and accountability. 5th level is I am considerate of other people. If you steal from Ms. Hernandez, you're stealing from yourself, and this is something that you have to teach them. I have a certain amount of money that I put to the side to buy rewards and incentives. So if you take from Ms. Hernandez, that's less money that I will have to buy you guys more things. So that's the perspective that you have to start teaching children. Level 6, which is, God willing, hopefully the best. That's the high level. And this is a level that, as an adult, I still have a difficult time with, which is I have a personal code of behavior and I follow the rules. So that's just who I am. That's my quality. I treat everyone the same. That's where you have to think about, what kind of teacher do I want to be? When the kid sees me in the street 10 years later, are they going to run to hug me, or they're going to hide behind the chips in Walmart? Think of that. What feeling do you give the children? Like when they see you, when they think of you, are they happy to see you? Are they terrified of you? And if they are, you still have an opportunity to, change that. Teaching is ever changing. When I began, I was a very different teacher from now. I was very strict. I was very orderly. I was very, I didn't really have many things to motivate my children. And with experience, I've become much better at it. So the first thing I do is I use a lot of Class Dojo. So the top 3 students in my classroom, they get to eat lunch with Ms. Hernandez. I put it on the board. I put the date. So this is goal setting. And, if the 4th kid was really close, I'll let him in. Because kids see that. When they see that you're flexible and you're workable with them, they do more for you. They like you. When they like you, they produce more. If they don't like you, they're gonna make sure, that they do the bare minimum for you. So I use this Class Dojo. Every week I reset the bubbles, and that's how we do it. The second thing is iReady. In our school, we push for iReady. Me personally, I tell them, okay, you need to get 100% or higher in iReady. And they're telling me there's nothing higher than 100%. But it's a joke. What I'm saying is I want them to do the very best. I provide an environment where they have headphones, they have working computers, they have Chromebooks, they have laptops that I have been donated to my classroom. They have everything they need to be successful in iReady. All I'm asking them is to take the time to pay attention and do their best on the lesson, and they deliver. So immediate gratification. So this is as they get their 100%, they get a choice of 2 animal crackers. This cost me $6 at BJ's, and I'm halfway through, and I bought this one in January because I remember doing this during Christmas shopping, after Christmas shopping. And 2 cheese balls. These are from Dollar Tree. Sometimes I get fancy and I buy them at Aldi. The $6, like this is $1 bag of cheese balls. They're not as good, but they'll take it. I do prefer the Utz brand. Utz brand. And then candy. Candy is a rare occasion in my classroom because I personally don't like feeding kids a lot of candy. That's just my personal preference. This is hey, after I've completed my iReady, I get to do AR, and if I get 100% on my accelerated reader test, I get a candy. This is a very rare occasion, and this is limit 1. Because one day they were all getting the candies, and I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, I want them to do good on AR, but I don't want to reward them doing good on AR, reward them with something that's gonna, that might harm their health. So I also have started, since my the lessons the children are on, a lot of them did very well on iReady. So I highly suggest if your district is using that program, do it. It really helps the kids learn. I've had kids go from kindergarten to 2nd grade in like 2-3 months span. So it works. You just have to have very high expectations. You have to motivate them because they will struggle with it. So I have my top readers struggling with it. They're at closed read lessons. Those are the 45-minute lessons or more, depending on, the reading comprehension skill they're at. And based on them getting 100%, I just got my little heart punch. And I punch it, and once they collect 12 of them, they get to eat lunch with Ms. Hernandez. And this was a great idea I got from going to a professional development workshop, and a partnering school or a school in our area shared this idea, this incentive of their school culture. And I found that very refreshing because this was a way for children to set goals. This is a long-term goal. There's no way a child will earn this in a month, maybe in a month and a half, but there's no way they're gonna do it in a week. So this is something that you will see them do their iReady, and they'll put it at the top of their computer, and they're just looking. So this is motivating them and it's not the treat that I'm promising them, because I did promise them McDonald's, but they just want to eat lunch with me. They just want to sit down, and they want to have a quiet, a good time with lunch during their lunchtime with their teacher. And the fact that they really do love me to a point where they're willing to get a lot of 100% to eat lunch with me, I think I'm doing a pretty good job, and I could do better, but I'm doing a really good job in finding different ways to motivate different learners. Because you're gonna have the kid that, okay, an eraser, that's cool, and then 2 minutes later it's on the floor somewhere. So you're gonna have that kid, but the most effective, cost-effective, and just the best way to motivate a child is showing them that you care about them, that you care that they're in your classroom, that you love them. Like, as like dumb as it sounds, they want to know this person here really cares about me. She cares about my day. She cares about my problems. She wants to help me. She really wants to help me. And I'll have kids in 5th grade. I'm a 2nd grade teacher. they'll come to me with their problems and be like, oh, they know Mr. Hernandez is there early, so I'll be in the class. I pick up my children 30 minutes early. That's just who I am, you know. So I pick them up early, and they'll come and they'll knock on my door and be like, Mr. Hernandez, I have this problem. And, you know, and I give them my best advice, because I remember being a child and I didn't know who to go to. I couldn't go to my mom because my mom would scream at me, because, you know, that's just how it was. Or I thought she would scream at me. My dad was not a talker, so there was not much advice I could get there. And I didn't really have a best friend that I could confide in, you know. So who do you go to? You know, be that go-to person for a kid. I'm not the go-to person for every kid. I know that. But the ones that I am the go-to person, I really do take that seriously, that relationship seriously with my students. So extrinsically, those are the ways you can motivate them. I also do class store. So when they do something amazing, they can go to the class store and get whatever they want. So I have, you know, things like this. And these are all things to donors choose. Very rarely do I buy things with my own money for my class store. Little finger puppets. The boys love their little cars. They love collecting these things. Oh, and I also got some of these things from the Ocean Bank warehouse. This has become a hot item. For some reason, these are very health conscious children. Like they how can I say this? They like taking care of the earth. So they want these straws because they say when they go to McDonald's, they don't want to get a regular straw. They want to use their special straw. So this is a important item in my class store. And then mugs. They want to use something that's recyclable, like something they can reuse and reuse. They hate the idea of throwing styrofoam cups in the trash. Like they hate when we have a party and they're like, oh my God, what a waste. You know, we just use that for 5 minutes. So this comes with how I'm seeing children evolve. I see more loving children. I see more, I don't know, they seem more into helping each other and accepting and tolerant of each other. And maybe it's because I'm becoming a better teacher with time, or maybe it's just the generation, you know, the Generation Z or X or whatever the name is. It could be either or. So I'm just gonna take, you know, what I can get at that point. So here is probably the cheapest thing I have done. Yes, it costs me time because I have to take the picture, and then I tweet it. But on Friday around 2 p.m., 2:30, they'll be like, hey, Mr. Hernandez, very nice way. Excuse me, Mr. Hernandez, you know, we haven't taken our picture for iReady. So if they get 100% on iReady, they get to take, as a class, a picture, you know, and I highly suggest you get the right forms filled out. Check this with your administration. You know, maybe in your district, you're not allowed to share pictures on Twitter. I'm not sure. But in my school, we're allowed and encouraged. So whenever the kids keep their 100% passing rate, that means they pass all of their lessons on iReady, they get to take a picture with us. And this is probably the cheapest thing I've done. All I did was print out. I actually have this on my TPT store. All I did was print it out, laminate it. I have it in the little back area where I have my little couch. They take a picture of it. I take a picture of them with it, holding it, and I tweet it. And it's such a big deal. The fact that they're on the internet for doing awesomeness makes a big deal. Like, it's a big deal to them. They go home and they tell their parents, oh, look at Mr. Hernandez's Twitter. Oh, my God. You know, how parents retweet it and comment and, like, love it. So, all in all, to sum it up, there's so many different ways you can motivate your children, your students. I use all kinds of ways. And yes, it does become time-consuming and expensive. But I am getting, I get really good scores. Like, let's be real. I get really good test scores. I have students that on the SAT last year, they were 1s, and this year they'll be a 7. So I do get my reward. Like, I get my immediate gratification when I get the test scores and I see that they all did well, or at least most of them did well. Because, you know, you always have that one kid that no matter how hard they try, they have really bad testing nerves and they just don't do well that day. But I can honestly tell you, all this is to make sure they have the skills for 3rd grade. That's my objective. And if their SAT score looks great, hey, why not? You know, that works out for me too. And you just have to find something that works for you. If, you know, you're balling on a budget, as I say, you can take a picture and tweet it. You can give them praise. Wow, I'm so proud of you. You guys did such a great job, you know. You can take a picture and you can even like print it black and white. The kids don't care. It's a big deal to them. Just put it on your door. Oh, iReady winner of the week, whatever. Or best student of the week, student of the month. Like things like that are the things that will build children to become contributing members of your school, your class culture, eventually your school culture. Another tip, I use Larry, my gerbil, a lot. He's a reward. So I say, hey, you did so well on your lesson, or wow, you've showed so much growth, or you have so much iReady time. You can get an AR book and read to Larry the gerbil. And that has become a wonderful thing in my classroom. It's cute to see, and they just love it. So do what works best for you. I am not suggesting you go and buy all these things today. That's not my purpose. My purpose is this is what has worked for me. Maybe next year I'll get a new batch of kids and none of them like any of this. And it's possible because it's happened. And that's okay. You know, you just have to keep finding what works best for you and your students to keep them motivated. This is the time that's crunch time. This is the time right before our SAT test. SAT, I think, is the second week of April. So I need to make sure I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that the kids are going to deliver, that I'm being the best teacher in the world. That is my motivation for coming to work every day, picking them up early, and providing them with a plethora of motivation, of ways to incentivize my class. So that's it. If you like my videos, subscribe. The subscribing motivates me to continue making videos for, you know, for teachers. And that's it. Like this video, comment, and I'll link below some of the things that have worked very well for me, and hopefully they will, you know, help you. And maybe you can even comment what's a good thing that's worked for you. Like what's something that's worked in your classroom. Maybe I can learn from you, and that would be great. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.